Have you ever seen someone twirl fire batons? Well, I twirl fire batons every fall season. Twirling is a sport that involves a lot of different things like dance, gymnastics, and a lot of your free time. A lot of us in this room and around the world can think of a sport that they have played or have watched on TV. I have been a twirler since I was 7 years old. Today I will discuss what twirling is, what being a competitive twirler is like, and how twirling can affect all different aspects of your life. Let's begin with what twirling is. Twirling is a sport that uses a metal stick called a baton and dance to put together a performance. I've been a twirler for 11 years, and you not only have to learn how to throw a stick and catch it, but you also have to use your body to perform. The United States Twirling Association defined twirling as an artistic and aerobic sport that promotes physical fitness and helps fight childhood obesity. Twirling involves lots of different things. Being a twirler, I had to learn how to twirl fire, do some gymnastics, and how to dance. Now that we know the gist of twirling, let's talk about competitions. During a normal competition season, a twirler has to give up a lot of their free time for practices and competitions themselves. I had to give up a lot of my time to practice for upcoming performances. Sometimes it would be 2 to 3.5 hours. In an article posted in the New York Times in 2005 by Bruce Weber, it said, "Twirlers have been doing competitions since at least 1947. And competitions are exactly how they sound. They are very competitive. There are different types of props, costumes, and it takes hours to get ready for a competition to do all that hair and makeup." In a report made by Melina Tripoli titled "Twirling Through Life," published just last year, she explains, "Depending on how far the place is, my weekend usually consists of hearing my alarm go off at 5 in the morning. I give myself around 2 hours, but I take those 2 hours to full-on curl my hair and end up doing my makeup in a moving car with potholes every 5 seconds." So that is just kind of the life of competition. But now, since we know what it's like to be a competitive twirler, let me explain how twirling can affect all aspects of your life. Twirling can take up a lot of free time. As I had mentioned before, I would practice from 2 to 3.5 hours. But you would also have competitions on weekends, sometimes every weekend, that could last all day. In All Things Considered by Robert Siegel, published in July 2001, a reporter named Wade Goodman had said, "At this level of competition, baton twirling is like gymnastics or figure skating in the number of hours that must be devoted to practice. 4 to 6 hours a day is common. I never experienced up to 4 to 6 hours, but close enough, the longest being 3.5. Learning to twirl and learning to perform can be very stressful and can cause things like anxiety. I never had anxiety in my life until I started competing. I would sometimes have panic attacks after performing on the floor because of the pressure that is put on to do your best." In the same report I mentioned before, Twirling Through Life by Melanie Tripoli, she explains that competitions can be very stressful, believe it or not. In conclusion, twirling is a sport that involves a lot and takes up a lot of time. It is not an easy sport. Twirling is a sport that incorporates lots of different things like dance and gymnastics. There are lots of practices and performances that take up a lot of free time that you have to do other things. Twirling is extracurricular, but it also affects a lot of other different aspects of your life if you think of it as a whole. With all that being said, I hope we all learned a little more about the sport of twirling.